Hey Humanities 300 class, my name is Fuzal Sheikh and the topic for my Zine project was universities in medieval times. So some background. During the ancient times, the thinkers like Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, they all selected their students and they taught them for life. But all of this relationship died out in a couple of generations and the whole schooling system changed during the Middle Ages. So in later half of Middle Ages, as the crusade ended and the knights brought back the knowledge of ancient Greek that was preserved and added by Islamic civilizations, Europe realized that to gain economic advancement, they had to spread this knowledge to common people. Schools started to spring up throughout Europe, and they taught religion, arts, sciences, and math. The earliest known universities in Europe came up between 11th and 15th century in cities of Italy, England, France, Spain, and Portugal. They covered a lot of subjects, including theology, law, medicine, and arts. The earliest known university in Europe was established in 1088 in Bologna, Italy, and it followed by University of Paris in France, followed by universities in Poland, Oxford, Cambridge. The earlier universities did not have a well-defined campus, and the teachers taught the students wherever they found the space. But as the number of teachers and students grew, they started to buy out and rent out buildings. In some of the universities, like one in Bologna, the students hired and paid the teachers, while in others, like in Paris, the church paid for the teachers, and in others, like Oxford and Cambridge, the salaries of teachers came from the state. The control of the universities varied depending on the structure of the universities. In Bologna, the students were in control, in Paris, the teachers were, and in Oxford and Cambridge, the state was. And the subject taught in these universities also differed. In Paris, they were more inclined towards theology. In Bologna, more secular sciences were taught, and in Oxford and Cambridge, political sciences and laws were taught. Most of the early medieval students began enrolling in universities at the age of 16, and they could enroll as late as when they're in their mid-30s. And the universities had 6 years master program and the bachelors of art being awarded during the end of their 3rd or 4th year. And the masters of art was divided into 7 subjects: arithmetic, music history, geometry, logic, grammar, astronomy, and rhetoric. And the main language of instruction was Latin. And in the later days, physics, metaphysics, and philosophy were added as extra courses. And upon completing the master's degree, the students either could leave the university or they could go for higher studies. And the options for higher studies were law, medicine, and theology. Theology was considered most prestigious because it was backed by the church. The students could only get trialed in special courts because they were considered clergy. Influence in America. So the later medieval period saw that universities brought to the Dominican Republic in 1538 by the Spanish Empire, and they soon found their way to the United States. The first 4-year college, being the Harvard University, came to the United States, followed by Yale and Princeton. The university system changed a lot as they found academic freedom, and as the universities grew in the world, they started to include a lot more subjects. And these days, the majority of universities follow the German model of pursuing your academic freedom. And like in Europe and their American counterparts, the land and the funds mostly come from the government. And these days universities, they offer a lot more subject, and it has changed a lot because students now enroll in universities mostly when they're 17 or 18, and they could enroll as late as whenever they want to continue their studies in community colleges. And the most interesting fact for me while I learned while making this project was just to learn how the university system grew from what it was back in the day while being controlled by the church to now, well, where you can pursue your academic journey while being in control of your own studies. And it's really interesting to see how the universities changed. Thank you for listening to me.